helping you get out of it. And then God helps you get out of it, and there's no questions asked. The only way I got out of this is that God got me out of this and all these other things. And then we don't see some water where we want to see some water, and we're thirsty. And then we have to ask, God, do you even care about us? Are you even around here? It's hardness of heart. Number 2, specific text. New American Standard, Mark 6:52. For they had not gained insight from the incident of the loaves but their heart was hardened. Mark 6:52. Now remember, I talked to you and said that you can have hardness of heart by self-inducement, something you just choose to, God says something, you just choose to resist it. That's self-inducement. But I also said you can have hardness of heart by your surrounding influence. In other words, we begin to pay attention to stuff that we're surrounded by and not attention to what God is saying. Mark 6:52. Now, this is in the context of Jesus after he fed the 5,000, and he told the disciples to get in the boat and go over to the other side. Okay, get in the boat and go over to the other side. While they were on their way over, a little storm came up, and Jesus came walking to them on the water, verse number 49. Of Mark chapter 6. And when they saw him walking on the sea, they supposed it was a ghost and cried out, for they all saw him and were troubled. But immediately he talked with them and said to them, Be of good cheer, it is I, do not be afraid. Then he went up into the boat to them, and the wind ceased, and it stopped. And they were greatly amazed in themselves beyond measure and marveled, for they had not understood about the loaves because their heart was hardened. Now, this is very interesting. The Bible makes it plain that Jesus had told them to go over to the other side, right? Is that clear? On their way over to the other side, they encountered a storm. Is that right? Jesus was walking on the water. When they saw him, they thought he was a ghost. They got afraid and they cried out. And he let them know who he was. But and he spoke, and what? The wind is ceased. It just calmed down. But notice what their response was, their reaction was, that they marveled. They marveled and were amazed at what happened out there to the wind. They were what? Now, here's the thing. Most time, folks would think if God does something and we are marveled and amazed about it, that's a good thing. That means we just all excited about God's power and all they got. But that's not what the text is saying. The text is saying they had no business being amazed and marveled at what Jesus did to the wind, because if they'd understood how he worked with the loaves, they would not have been surprised at all for him to calm that wind down. So the Bible is saying whenever we act a certain way, a lot of time, it is an indication that we really had hard hearts because we didn't understand something God had done for us before. It's right to be excited when God does something, but a lot of times excitement can be an indication that you're shocked God did it. That if it was just a norm, you'd thank God, but it wouldn't like take you in a shock mode. Like, I can't believe, yeah. That's fine if that's in simply affirmation that you knew God could do it, and it's no surprise to you. Your excitement is over the fact that God chose to do it, and you're happy about it. But it's not excitement over I'm surprised, I'm shocked, I'm amazed. Look at how this turned out. When God has a track record of always doing stuff, getting us out of stuff, getting us through stuff, getting us over stuff, and then we act shocked. That's called hardness of heart, because it means that our minds got so wrapped up in stuff going on around us, just like these disciples. They got wrapped up in the wind and the storm and all that was going around them. And the Bible says they were amazed at what Jesus did, because they did not understand the feeding of the 5,000, the loaves, because their hearts were hardened. This is in a passive tense, which means they allowed the stuff they were looking at to influence them and harden their hearts. Now, in my study time, when I got in this verse and began to meditate, I literally broke down.